Hey everybody, it's time for another Tag It Tuesday project. This month, for November of 2016, the only prompts I'm going to give you is that we're going to work with trees and leaves. I thought that was kind of appropriate for the fall and going into the Thanksgiving season. So however you want to incorporate that on your tag, any size tag, any medium, however you want to do that. And then we all link up over on the Facebook page, and I'll put that below for you so you can go directly to there if you're not familiar with it. And we'll share our projects. And then at the end of the month, everybody who's participated, their name goes into a drawing for a little envelope of goodies from me. So this month, I actually am working with a bigger tag than I normally do. Usually I just use my number 5 shipping tags. But this one's about 3 by 6-ish. And the reason I went to a bigger one is I found this in my stash. Actually, someone sent me this beautiful tree die cut. And I haven't decided if I'm going to actually use it in its entirety or use it as a mask. And like do sprays over it and then remove it and have the image behind. But that's the reason I chose the bigger tag to work with, because it fits on there. I've also pulled out one of my giant turkey napkins because of the back of it. It has this nice leaf crackly stuff. I really like that. I also pulled out this one. Not sure if I'm going to use it or not. Pulled out some miscellaneous book papers, music papers, some doilies. I'm not really sure where I'm going. Got some archival inks pulled out. Have a stamp set pulled out. So we're just going to kind of play loosey-goosey with this and see how much tree-ish, leaf-ish stuff we end up with. So I hope you'll join us and play along. Again, the link will be below to the Facebook page, and we do this every month. We have a different theme that we do every single month, and I hope you'll come and play with us. So in the meantime, sit back and relax, and we'll see where we go with this tag. So I'm starting out with my napkin and sizing it up here, and I'm going to use matte medium liquid. Sorry. I like to use the liquidy version with the napkins. It gives you a little bit more working time, and when you put it down, you can, as you can see, scrunch it up, and I'm doing that to give it a little bit extra texture. Then we'll get that dried and trim around the edges there. And then I'm going to go back over it with another coat of the matte medium to seal it up, because I know I'm going to be doing a bunch of other stuff on top of this. So I don't want my napkin to disintegrate or move or any other terrible thing. So I'm going to seal it with a coat of matte medium, sorry. So used to saying matte gel, but this is liquid medium. Alright, now I'm going to work on that tree, and I've decided that I am going to use it on its own, not as a mask. So I've got some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mists out, and I'm going to color up my tree with this yummy shimmery color. I'm using, I think it's apricot peel, olive, and then I want to say coffee bean for the stem, but I'm not sure that's what it's called. And dried it up, and I decided the trunk wasn't dark enough, so I hit it with another spray full to darken that up a little bit. And you'll see as we go through here that I keep putting it onto my tag and looking at it and taking it off. All the while I'm trying to figure out how can I darken up the tag behind where the tree is going to be so it will show better. So here's my first step, is I'm taking this honeycomb stencil and spraying some of that glimmer mist through there, and that helped, but it's not enough. So I'm going to come back in with my bubble stencil and some of the olive spray and add some more. And this is kind of just typically how mixed media works. As you guys know, it's just layer upon layer upon layer. It doesn't necessarily have to be a physical 3D layer of something, but layers of colors, layers of patterns. So now I'm coming in with a layer of stamping using my archival ink and some of these Stampin' Up! Leaves. Don't know if they make this set still or not. And in hindsight, as I'm looking at the finished tag, you actually don't see hardly any of these leaves that I've stamped at all. But that's okay. It's just a process, like I said, of building layers of color and texture and pattern. And that's what gives us those yummy backgrounds that we love. Alright, so looking at it again, deciding it's still not dark enough where that tree's going to go for those branches to really pop off the background. So now, still using the Glimmer Mist, I'm going to do some drippage, as we like to call it. Alright, so I'm taking a look, deciding it's still not dark enough there in that middle, so I went and found some cheesecloth, and this is going to add some texture behind it too. And then I'm going to spray some more stuff on it, and hopefully it'll really darken it up. That cheesecloth will capture it. And I decided to attach the cheesecloth with Sparkle Mod Podge, not something you normally see me use. I kind of like to stay away from Mod Podge a lot on mixed media projects because it has a tendency to stay sticky even after it's dry. At least that's been my experience with it. But I thought, well, I got this sparkle stuff and it might look pretty with some sparkles in behind the branches of my tree. So I found a little bit darker brown Glimmer Mist that I had in my stash, and I'm just going to spray that directly on there. And I have dried this, you know, I edit out all that drawing stuff all the time. And I'm going to dry this, have a look at it, decide it's still not dark enough, and yes, I'm going to spray it again. But I really like the way this looks, and the cheesecloth did really grab that dark brown, and I like that very much. So now I'm thinking, yep, those branches are popping out from there very, very nicely, which was my whole intent. And as always, with my mixed media projects, I never know if I'm done or not. Do I need to do something else? Do I need to add something else? Well, you know, of course, I am going to ink the edges because I just can't help myself. This is with the archival ink in potting soil. It's a Wendy Vecchi color. I really like it. It's always good when you have a good brown in your arsenal. And especially that it is a permanent ink and it's going to stay put. Okay, I pulled out a Deco Art stencil. I believe this one's called Inspiration. And I'm going to use the word Imagine and stencil that with some yellow acrylic paint. on the bottom of my tag. And because there is quite a bit of texture, and I tried to be careful with the paint because I didn't want it to go where it wasn't supposed to, I didn't get a really crisp image. So after I get this dry, I'm going to come back in with my yellow Posca pen and outline that to define those letters a little bit more. I debated with completely coloring them in, but I actually thought that might be too stark for the tag, and it might actually take away from all the yummy background stuff I have going. So I opted to just outline the letters. Okay, so I decided to mat my tag onto some dark brown cardstock. This is Stampin' Up! Cardstock. I think it's called Espresso. Again, not sure if that's a color they still make or not, but that's what this is if you're interested. Just matted that on there with some double stick tape, trimmed it down, and clipped the corners, and then I'm going to take my crocodile and punch through that hole so that if I want to add some fibers or ribbon or whatever, I can through that hole in the tag. Crocodile is a great tool to have if you don't have one. They're a little pricey, but if you can catch them with a coupon, they're a great thing to have because they're an eyelet setter and they're a hole puncher, 2 different sizes of holes, and they will punch through a large quantity of stuff. So it's a nice thing to have. Adding a few more little dots with my Posca pen along in the bottom corners and then on the top diagonal edges. And of course you'll see those better in the close-up pictures. It's a little hard to see. I know I don't zoom in enough for you guys sometimes. And then I'm going to use some Tombow Mono Multi-Adhesive to attach my tree. I really like this adhesive, of course, except when I drop it all over everything, because on the end that you see me using, it has a nice fine tip applicator, and then the other end, which I hardly ever use, is a big wide applicator. So it's handy for small stuff, primarily is what I use it for because of that fine tip applicator. So we got the tree on, we've got it matted on some nice cardstock. Look at all that pretty shimmer. And I think that's it. So you'll see the close-up pictures coming up. Thank you so much for coming by. I hope you'll like and subscribe. And if you haven't already joined the Tag It Tuesday group over on Facebook, be sure to check that out. We have an awful lot of fun, and I hope I see you there. So have a great day, and I'll see you next time.